offer one simple service to all of our clients. Our agents are guided by one principle, one code. What is that code?
The warrant is all. You are locked and served.
Let's bring out the star, Aaron Ashmore, and executive producer Michelle Lovretta. All right.
I'm here with Aaron Ashmore from the new show Killjoys. It's coming out later this year on Space. Very excited about the show because from what we've heard about it, it takes place in space with like basically there's the crux of possible interplanetary civil war happening, and you guys are basically bounty hunters collecting bounties, trying to keep neutral.
Yes.
And you played John. What more can you tell me about the show?
Well, without spoilers, I think you laid it out really, really well, actually. Yeah, we're basically bounty hunters, and like you said, we're working in this amidst this sort of rebellion that's sort of bubbling underneath. But because of the company that we work for, we're trying to stay impartial, and that may become more difficult throughout the show. We may have to have to pick sides, but yeah, that you laid it out really well there.
Well, thank you very much.
You did your homework.
I do my research. Yeah. I do.
The show itself is it's an interesting concept. We've seen science fiction before and everything like that, but from your side of things, though, I thought it was interesting because you've done Instant Star.
Yes. Oh my God. Good memory.
And then you did Lost Girl.
Yeah. That one.
So that's a bit of a jump from
yeah.
A child-based not a child, but like a youth audience to some little bit sexier, and now you're going to like a high action kind of show. Yeah. For you, like, what was the creative, challenges that you faced with coming,
I don't think they were challenges, actually. I think it was really just opportunity is trite, but reward. Just the stuff that I grew up with was basically all spec. It was mostly from fiction, so it would have been fantasy and sci-fi. So I've been really lucky to be able to do with Lost Girl. I kind of got the fantasy itch, and I got to scratch that. And then after having done that and doing some witch shows and other things that are in that base, myself and I think obviously we can see a lot of the other creators out there kind of went, okay, and now I want to move from fantasy into the next thing, and a whole bunch of us got on spaceships at the same time, which I did not know at the time, but which is really a treat, to be able to, have your laser guns and have your kick-ass spaceship and your bounty hunters is something that if you'd told me 10 years ago I'd get to do a succubus and then I'd get to do bounty hunters in space, I'd be like, get out, and I did get to. So that was the treat.
In this show, John is the pilot of the group, correct? Like, you fly the ship?
Well, I mean, technically Lucy can fly herself, but I do a lot of piloting. She's kind of like the fourth character. She's like the fourth Killjoy in a lot of ways, and she does let us fly her. But yeah, she's got a lot of personality, and yeah, I sort of do a lot of the technical stuff, fixing of the ship, all that kind of stuff. So we have a special relationship, Lucy and I.
Lucy's your baby.
She is my baby.
Is there an episode that you guys have done that you're like you can't wait for the fans to see this, because then that's the one that's really going to like go, that's our show?
Oh God. I think one of the enjoyable aspects of every first season is you try out different forms of your core show. Right. So I love actually quite a few of the episodes for that reason. There's, one that is, I'd say 4 is one of our funnier ones. 5 is one of our more classic sci-fi space set ones. Right. Then we get into some that are more character-based and deeply emotional and have serialized elements. We have quite a bit of serialization in the series, actually. So we have a lot of warrants of the week that are our A stories, but it all is used to build a larger mythology, exploring what we call the Quad, which is sort of our home base planetary neighborhood. There's 1 planet and 3 moons, and our guys are sort of taking warrants on 3 of them. So, I don't actually have favorites, and I don't think any one yet is the exact. It would limit the series to say that one is sort of the core one of the show. So it's kind of, they're all kind of fun. in their own way. Some are dark fun, some are sexy fun, some are scary fun. You know, and some are classic. Let's go on a real sci-fi short story as an episode form. So it's good.
We talked about it a bit here about how, you know, there is some piloting involved, even though Lucy can fly herself. Say you are out in, like, John's out in the cosmos and gets into a dogfight with some particular pilots. How would John outmaneuver? Would he be able to outmaneuver, say, Han Solo in the Millennium Falcon?
I think John sometimes is channeling Han Solo a little bit. I sort of feel like, I don't think that they have Star Wars there, but I think that John would be a huge fan of Han Solo and of those movies. So yes, he would have picked up some of those techniques and definitely studied his Han Solo.
That's right. Okay, cool.
But I mean, let's be honest. Han is the pilot, and the Millennium Falcon's pretty badass. So I think we'd give him a run for his money, though.
Right. So you'd want to start out light, like maybe facing like Wash on the Serenity, or you know, maybe Dick Dastardly in his flying machines.
Yeah, don't throw me up against the top level right off the bat. You gotta,
Yeah, build up. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Running the show and with this cast, and you've got, you know, guys like Aaron Ashmore and, you know, the rest of the crew, and they seem like a fun bunch. What was it like backstage, like behind the camera, like when you're filming? Like, did they get into antics? Like, what can you spill?
I will say one day when you get, and I'm going to stare at Aaron right now as I say this, one day when you get all three of the actors together, have them sing. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to say that when they are entertaining themselves in between scenes, they have come up with some hilarious songs. And that is kind of one of the highlights for me of the season, is when I just sort of hear what they've done. They've rewritten a scene using song and dance.
What's the feel of the show? Maybe even if you could describe in a word or a sentence of what people might get out of this?
I think that they will get sci-fi, action, adventure, drama, comedy. It's got a little bit of everything, and I think it balances all those things really well, and I think that's why the show is going to work so well. So that was just like a bunch of words strung together in a somewhat sentence. So I'm going to stick with that. I feel pretty good.
Made logical sense. It did definitely. Well, thank you very much for talking with us.
I forgot sexy too. Sexy is tucked in there somewhere, because
There
there's
we go.
definitely some good looking women, and some there's some good looking guys on the show too.
There we go. Something for everybody right there.
Level 4 warrants are live or dead, right?
Yep.
Dead it is.